take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No!
What day is it? Monday? Oh, Monday!
Monday, Monday, so good to me.
Hey, it's Monday.
Medical
Monday.
Changes could be coming to Michigan's marijuana law. A new set of bills now being heard in Lansing.
Marijuana is not a drug.
And the bills would have major implications to small medical growers known as caregivers.
That's some heavy shit, man.
Small pot farmers in California say the state is not standing by its promise to protect.
Big companies were supposed to be limited, but some have stacked hundreds of licenses.
Stop hitting it so hard.
Created a cartel, essentially.
You have an industry allowing for businesses to operate like cartels.
But it's a Monday.
Harm has been done by the fact that we didn't legalize it back then.
Well, I don't know if there's any harm that's been done.
There was people getting arrested, there were people getting thrown in jail. I mean, that counts, doesn't it?
What kind of joint is this, man?
Smoking marijuana all in public. You would think that shit was legal. We the Pistons in the 8, 9, and 9. Oh, bad boy, bad boy.
Just another medical.
And welcome Medical Mondays, y'all. This is your host with the most, THC in his motherfucking bloodstream, BERG. Of course, I got my right-hand man, my compadre, my co-host with me, Erocho.
What up, though?
And I want to thank our boy Ross, tuning in from Canada. We got Ross Rebagliati. Did I get it right?
Good enough, right?
Awesome. Yes.
He got it.
Awesome, man.
Nice work.
Thank you for joining us, sir. And
Thanks for having me.
Before we get into anything, I want to give a huge shout out to all of our awesome sponsors. Big shout out to Native Made 313, Michigan Turf Farms, Nugget Duction Extracts, Kiki Madman, SOB Labs, and Tree Street Packaging. Boom. And also, of course, here on Medical Mondays, we want to remind everybody to get your medical marijuana card, man. One of those awesome people you can hit up is Detroit Certification Center. You can get at them at DetroitCertCenter.com or Detroit Cert Center on their social media, or you could give them a call or a text. It's 248-275-6707. Make sure you tell them Medical Monday sent you.
Yeah.
They'll hook you up good. But you know, if you don't want to go to them, there's plenty of other people around the state that'll help you out. You know, we got Pure West out west. We got Michael Dewey up north. We got Vehicle City and Genesee Compassion. GC3. I'll just say that. GC3.
County Compassion Club.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, there's plenty of people out there. There's Dr. B down in Ohio. Who else, Roach? Michigan Weedsters.
The Weedsters, yeah. But look, even if you're not in Michigan, wherever the fuck you are, get your medical card, period.
Yeah.
You know, it's a national thing. You know, obviously we're here in Michigan. We want Michiganders to get those cards. You know, we're providing options for that. But nationally, if you're listening, go get your medical card.
Definitely. It lets those politicians know that we're here and we're not going anywhere. And it helps you out legally too, man. It's a difference between a DUI and driving medicated. So, I mean, it helps you out in several different ways. So,
very much so.
Get that card.
And you know what else is going to help people in several different ways? Especially if they show their asses up. This
Yeah,
coming
man.
summer.
Hold on.
He wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready, bro. I wasn't ready. Damn it, man. I don't even have it on my computer. Well, go ahead, talk about it. And
Man, JSH Enterprises, Nug Abduction, Native Made, all the wonderful vendors you've come to know from these give back events. Your boy Nice, Better Be, uh, who else? The Fuck Off Extracts,
Mr.
Mr.
Kush
Kush,
313.
John Doe, The Heat, all these great vendors got together. And this give back event is for the community. Everybody who's come up and come through to support the movements, despite what the charities were. We've done like at least 10, I want to say,
Yeah,
different
I'd say
charities.
more, but yeah, definitely
Yeah.
10, at least 10.
From the kid school clothes, the Christmas, the forever homes, the veterans, all of those give backs, we're giving back to y'all. This event, free entry. Come through and chill. There's going to be free
Free.
food, the beverages, door
Wow.
prizes,
Free food.
raffle tickets.
But yeah, come through, y'all. No charge or donations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
This
check in with
Sunday,
all these
October
great vendors.
22nd, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. It'll be in Detroit. If you know, you know. If you don't know, hit
Find
one
out.
of us up and we'll have to do a little screening to see if you're able to come. But yeah, all these awesome people are going to be there and it's going to be a great time, y'all. Great time. Everybody gets a raffle ticket so you can win a basket from all the vendors as well. So that right there is worth coming. But you got to stick around. So many people come and, they'll get
You
what
know what?
they get and then they're out and then their number gets called and they miss out on an awesome prize. So come through, make time, and me and Roach are going to be there too. I mean, hopefully
You know
it
what, Berg?
doesn't
I'm
bore anybody.
gonna take a liberty, bro. I'm going off script. I'm going off script. One lucky attendee who doesn't have their medical card will win a free card. I'm just putting that
Oh,
out there.
yeah. Detroit Search Center is going to be in the building. So, yeah.
Detroit Search Center's in the building. I know we can swing at least one, if not more. But for sure, one is we're gonna make it a contest somehow. Show up, let us know at the door that you don't have your card and you're looking to win one, and we'll see what we can do.
Hell yeah.
Medical Mondays, man. Everybody's family. Fuck Olive Garden. It's Medical Monday.
Also, before we get into anything else and talking to our guests and everything, but I want to let us know what you're smoking on, everybody. I'm about to light up this original Z from Michigan Turf Farms. That's Skittles. How about you, Roach? Oh, my bad.
Oh man. Candy. It's a grape wood with some Skittles and permanent marker. Like, I don't know, man. I'm falling in love with that little mixture of the
Yeah.
Skittles permanent marker
Hell yeah.
and the grape wood. Phenomenal.
How about you, Ross?
Well, what do I got? I'm smoking gelato number 2.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see it in there.
Man, it looks
in there.
Awfully crystally, man.
Yeah, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So I got it. This stuff's strong. Holy fuck. I gotta say.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
But no, I'm happy to be here with you guys in Michigan. I'm actually joining in from British Columbia, home of the BC Bud country. Yeah.
I remember BC Bud back in the day, man. We used to get it over here.
Yeah, hey. Right on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Native Maid smoking on that candy runts. Miss Rue smoking on some original Z from Michigan Turret Farms. That's the only two chimed in as far as letting us know what they're smoking on.
Yeah, man. Either way, whether they say something or not, shout out to everybody in the chat. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Man, I'm sure you guys are all already subscribed, but just in case you're not, subscribe.
Boop. Get notifications too. When we go live, because we're supposed to go live every Monday at 9. I've been thinking about changing the time to 9-ish instead of 9 p.m.
9 p.m. stoner time.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. But yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea. Keep it loose a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah. I was actually ripping home from my kids' hockey practice to make it here in front of you guys. I was wondering if I was going to make it on time. But
we broke a Canadian away from hockey, man. That's an honor.
Man, we feel honored, bro. We feel honored.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We appreciate
it's not a stereotype.
Well, yeah, no, man, we're butted right up against Canada there at the Windsor parts.
Yeah. No,
shout out
Canada
to our boy
right
D-Mac. He's Canadian too. Well, he's Canadian born. So
yeah.
Darren McCarty, former Red Wing.
Yeah.
I want to say it's four-time Stanley Cup winner.
Okay.
He stops by the show
He's
sometimes.
always a Red Wing.
Yeah.
He's not a former. He's an eternal Red Wing.
For sure.
Oh man, the Red Wings are as much a Canadian favorite team as any other Canadian team. That it's like got to be one of the most popular teams. Period.
Seems like our team is mostly Russians and Canadians, anyways.
I think all the teams have a few on each, right? For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But
we just figured out the secret formula.
That's it, man. It's like the right nutrients. Get it dialed in. But
well, shit, man. I wanna give you a proper intro, and if everybody in here doesn't know who this man is, what was it? Was it 96? No, you won 94 and 96 in the European Championship, but it was 98.
Correct.
1998 gold medal winning athlete, snowboarder. You were the first to win it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, number one in many different factions. Our boy Ross joining us. Thank you,
good to
sir.
be here.
Appreciate you.
Yep, good to be here. We had our event was the first event of the whole game.
This was a picture from your medal winning days, man.
Yeah, awesome. that was my winning run. We did 2 runs. I felt like I was crashing on every turn. It was happening so fast. Yeah. I really left it out there.
What was it? Nagano? Is that how you say it? Nagano, Japan?
Yeah, Nagano, or some people say Nagano.
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 Ross is being nice. The rest of the world says Nagano.
It's Nagano. Okay. So it's like Rebagliati. It's Nagano. Yeah.
No, that's Berg's thing, man. Don't feel bad. He never says it. That's why he was so proud that he said Rebagliati.
Right? That's it. You got it. That's it. You know
right.
Well, we'll get that We'll get that straight by the end of the show. You know, the hockey announcers, I've been on TV in Canada a bunch of times, and the guys that announce hockey get the Russian names, they get everybody's name, but they never get my name. They never get it. I don't know why that is. But it's good. I don't want to be like everybody else where you get my name.
Right.
Yeah, no, man. And I mean, you definitely stood out in your performance, winning this medal, but it was also quite a performance post the event.
Yeah.
Where like they were all up in your shit, man. Like in true stoner form. You had to add a little drama and spice.
I'm always getting in trouble, man. And I knew it was going to be for weed. I knew it. And that was the only thing that I knew for sure, was I was losing sleep over it. But so, yeah, just for everybody who doesn't know, I won the giant slalom for snowboarding. Opening day of the Olympics, first event of the Olympics, first time snowboarding was ever at the Olympics. And then the next morning tested positive for weed, which was the classic, snowboard stereotype at the time, and played into the whole stigma. And so all of a sudden I became like, the poster boy for, not only the 1998 Winter Olympics around the world, but, for Schedule I substance, cannabis, and the whole 9 yards. So, it was quite the event. Like, winning was incredible, right? Like, how do you even put that into words?
Yeah, I can't even imagine, bro.
So
like the world, bro. The world.
I know, everybody was there, and then to find yourself like in like heat the next day, like even don't get a whole day. And they sent me down from the ski resort in a little bus all by myself, 2 hours, like to stress out about it. And it was a frenzy of photographers, and paparazzi. It was pre-internet, so it was quite the time being all the way in Japan too, nowhere near home or anything. And the next thing I'm in jail in Japan. How do you even like come to terms with that? One day you're winning the Olympics, and the next day you're not. So the whole thing was around the cannabis and how I got it in my system. And everyone called bullshit on my story that I stopped smoking like 6 months before in April, because no one was talking to us about weed, and all we were asking were questions about weed, but our coaches didn't know. The doctors that were working on the national team, they didn't know anything about it. And so we decided that April was going to be our last chance to smoke some weed before February. So we did that, and nobody else tested positive, like, besides me. But, probably I did 3 drug tests before I made it to the Olympics, and nothing came back. But anyways, it was secondhand smoke just from hanging out with my bros every day, just as usual. I just wasn't smoking myself. And I thought that would be good enough for my, and I was seemingly passing my drug test before I got there. So I felt like I was good.
Yeah, man. It almost seems like a setup in a way, where like they wanted it. I don't know if it was something again. You would probably know better, but like if it was somebody had something against you, or there was something against the sport, or just the way it all went down. It was just really like.
So what? So
they weren't looking for it until they were looking for it, basically.
I don't know what came about, because in past Olympics, other gold medalists had tested positive for weed, and they won, but you never heard about it. It wasn't a thing. And so what happened was, on the World Cup tour, weed was on the list of banned substances. So on a normal race, World Cup race, weed was on that list. And so we were already not smoking weed during the build up to the Olympics. We had to switch tours from the snowboard tour to that tour, which had the drug testing. So that was new to us anyways, but we knew that. And we assumed that it was also on the list from the IOC at the Olympics. But it turns out the reason they had to give me my medal back is because it wasn't. And then they added it to it after me, and they call it the Ross
rule. Set the tone. They were like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, that dude Ross."
Right. But having said that, there are a couple of other, or at least one other interesting point. I don't even want to talk about it. Just because, when you're at the Olympics, this is where countries go head to head instead of war, right? Yeah. This is the hypothetical power struggle between the countries.
Yeah.
And the most gold medals wins. If whoever has the most medals, period, is the most powerful country in the world. That's just the politics of the Olympics. That's how it's structured. That's the reason why they build $1 billion bobsled course.
You use it once.
And don't use it again.
Yeah.
And whatever other stadiums and, anyway, without getting into politics and shit like that, there's definitely some room on the, that you could think of a few things, but in my life, I've had to not think about that shit because it would just slow me down. And so I've made a point of really not talking about it. But yeah, there's definitely a few things. Like if you had some ideas, like I could entertain them, but not that I don't want to talk about it because I'm dying to talk about it, but
there you go. Hey, we're not stopping you, bro.
So I would just want to be, a little bit more. If I was going to want to look into it some more, I would definitely want to look into it some more before I started talking about it.
For sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it definitely seemed like the fix was in, man. Like, I don't know.
Right. And the other thing is,
so it's like twice though. They came at you 2 different times, like, "Oh, we're not going to give you the medal. Oh, we're not going to give you the medal," and then finally gave you the medal after they realized
that's right,
that it wasn't even on the list, right?
Right. They actually, we went to the 2 appeals. The first one was the same as the second one, but it was a group of people that represented all the country, 35 countries or whatever it was, all in their national outfits, and listening to my story about secondhand smoke, basically, and that I stopped smoking to comply, to go to the Olympics and so forth. And the first one I lost by 1 vote, which never has happened in the history either before, because they always, if it's 1 vote, they give it the benefit of the doubt to the athlete. And the second one, the Canadian guy didn't vote for me, which pissed me off more. And the reason why
was some hoe shit, man. That's some hoe shit.
He was actually
like, "Oh, you're making our country look bad, eh?"
Yeah, right. And so that wasn't, so anyways, a few things were rubbing me the wrong way by the time we got to the second appeal, right? And they already took my medal away, but I actually never gave it back. It was still in my pocket, but they were supposed to take it. And yeah, it was a fucking nightmare.
You should put it in your fucking underwear by your nuts.
Dude,
like,
I was going to hide it.
Get it, motherfucker.
Dude, that's how I was feeling that way though, man. I was actually really, I guess I was like literally like upset about it.
Those believe it. They were pre-medical, all that shit, man. It was still very frowned upon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're talking.
It's
25.
It's crazy nowadays, though. Like how Thailand and everything, and are legalizing, and fuck, it's crazy. And then you got other places killing people still over weed. So,
and then
crazy.
places that used to kill people over weed, like Thailand, all of a
Yeah,
sudden
yeah.
they're like open for business.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
and I
weird.
mean, and you would think that like one person winning a gold medal with weed in their system would be enough to stop it, but like athletes are still being like quote unquote exposed for cannabis use. It's
Sha'Carri
kind of
Richards.
yeah, man, she got fucked up too. But like,
Yep.
who was the other guy? The guy here from Michigan, the
Michael
swimmer,
Phelps.
Michael Phelps.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know, like he tested positive, and it was just kind of like a joke.
I don't like. I remember the story where someone took a picture of him hitting the bong.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I've seen that.
And so guess who was on NBC that week? Me.
Oh, no way. That's hilarious.
I was the guy that went on NBC. You could probably find that footage somewhere, but I was the high level athlete that was speaking in favor of cannabis and why an athlete like that would use cannabis. And then I was up against your top anti-cannabis guy saying how there's more people in rehab in the United States for weed than for any other fucking drug. I'm like, yeah, well, that's because there's an ultimatum when you get picked up for weed in the United States of fucking jail or rehab. What do you think people are going to take, right? And he's like, oh, no answer. But anyways, yeah, I've been on CNN and, all the talking about it for a long time over the years. That's the platform that was given to me. That's the card that was dealt to me at the Olympics. And so what I decided to do was like run with it. I was already like a believer of cannabis and using it, just on a day-to-day leading, for years leading up to the Olympics. It wasn't like the first time I smoked weed, I got in trouble, right?
Like, were you guys kind of hesitant at first to be, I'm sure when you were at the Olympics, shit wasn't,
No, it took me like,
you were on edge and shit. Like,
I was on edge, being in jail was shocking to me. And I had,
especially another country, bro. Like, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
No, I mean, a certain amount of PTSD, carried on for me afterwards for like around 10 years until I could sort of, because I came home like known by every single person in Canada. I flew directly to LA for the Tonight Show from Nagano the day after I got out of jail to do with Jay Leno, and people at the Beverly Hilton just walking out of the hotel recognized me, like just random people in the United States recognizing
me. Were they like, oh yeah, you're the snowboarder who won, or were they like, oh, you're the guy that got caught with weed? Which one was it?
Both. It was everything.
All right, you're the snowboarder who smokes weed. Yeah.
yeah. There's that, and then there's like the parents that won't let their kids have their picture taken with me and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and of course, right? Of course, there's going to be, you can't win all the votes, right? Like no matter what you try to do, but it is what it is. And so there was definitely, some ups and downs, or, dealing with my new life, being a celebrity, but not getting a paycheck. And it was about, retiring from snowboarding in itself, not when I wanted to, was one thing. Losing sponsors and stuff like that. Another thing, because relationships and so forth, kind of being isolated when you get home, because now you're like this, you're not the same person in everybody. Anyway,
when did you start? When did you start snowboarding? Was it like a young age, or because?
Well, I started snowboarding before you were allowed to snowboard. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was illegal at one point in time, right?
Right. Like I was 15 when I started snowboarding in 1987. Okay. And So nowadays kids grow up snowboarding from when they're 3 years old, but if it's not allowed, it's not something that you do on a regular, right? So anyways, I discovered snowboarding in 1987. That's when I started. I was 15 years old. And from 87 till 98 was a steep curve because sponsors were looking for anybody who could snowboard at the time to get behind them. And right away I met Craig Kelly and a bunch of other top pro snowboarders in Whistler, and found myself like winning in an amateur series, and then boom, on to World Cup, sponsored by Burton Snowboards. Full ride, the whole 9 yards, winning races. I won the US Open in Vermont back in like 93 or something. And it was just like all of a sudden 10 years goes by from 87 to 98, and I'm at the freaking Olympics. And the thing is that I was a ski racer until I was 15 years old and gave up the dream of going to the Olympics to do a sport that I wasn't even allowed to do, And so there was that, realizing a new, an old dream that all of a sudden was possible again. And in a different sport. I mean, the whole thing is just too crazy, right? I don't know.
Well, I mean, since it clearly didn't do you a disservice.
No.
But tell us about when cannabis entered the scene.
So we were looking, and I had all my buddies were growing already by that point. And I was sort of trying to figure out, because it was the black market, and I'm like an Olympic gold medalist. I can't really get involved on that level, but what I could do was the media. So I decided I would be the guy that would do the media for cannabis as an Olympic gold medalist, which was way less risky and no pay. So that I ended up working construction and building houses and operating machines and all that for like 10, 15 years. At the same time as I was doing, my media and stuff like that. And I became part of like the cannabis community at that level. And as the internet kind of kicked in and Instagram kicked in, then I was able to start connecting out to more people. But by 2012, we decided we were going to paper up the company, Ross Gold. And then right away, because it was still pre-legalization, I came out with a line of glass, Ross Gold glass. And so I got some, here's the closest one I can reach right here. It's a frosted, you can see the Leaf logo in it, whatever. We had the glass in like 800 stores for like 6 years. And then, so I was kind of connected. I knew what was going on in the politics, because our prime minister part of his platform was legalizing cannabis at the time. So, we were ready to go. Basically, we knew it was getting legalized. We didn't know when, but eventually it was going to happen. So we did that. By 2015, I had my own gray market dispensary, 30 strains, all the shatter to go with each strain, everything, edibles, all the black market, everything in our store. We had that for 2 years. We did national TV news in the store. We had the police chief, everybody, the fire. Just, this is the future of cannabis, you guys. Like, this is happening. Luckily, I never got arrested or shut down or anything. But when we found out it was going to get legalized at a federal level, we did shut everything down because we wanted to make the transition over. And then we did. And it was 4 years after legalization. The regulations changed and got a little easier and a little more, sensible as time went by. And finally, by February of 2023, this year, we launched our first products in stores in British Columbia. So that was ironically too, and not planned. On February 8th of 2023, we launched products in stores. 25 years to the day that I won the Olympics. It was just completely ironic.
Oh, wow.
It was too crazy. Like, it was one of those things, right?
That's your brand.
Yeah.
Ross Gold.
Yeah. Emphasis on the gold. And there's actually on Whistler Mountain, there's a run called Ross's Gold. Of course, that's where we stole the name from, because they immediately gave me that run. And Black Diamond is a reference to, the skiing and snowboarding that I've done and continue to do. I'm actually coaching this year again. I've got a group of, 12 to 14-year-olds that I free ride with at our local hill. So I'm kind of the free ride guy that takes them out for the day on Saturdays. But this is our organic mango gold. This terpinolene is a super rare terpene that it's over 1% of, that makes you feel awesome. It's a good strain. With the mango terpenes just, punch you in the face when you open the bag. If you look down there, we got 4 to 5%. We were hitting over 5%. Yeah.
Nice. Boom, gold medal, baby.
Yeah. That's Jamaica, actually.
Oh, you're in Jamaica.
Yeah. We were visiting some G's down there. They had some pretty impressive mountaintop operations.
So I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Can't talk too much about that, but it was good times. Jamaica's kind of followed the same legalization.
We planted that seed before the show, man. Has it grown? Has it sprouted? Like, what was your first experience with cannabis? Like, first ever.
So it was classic. It was a girl in I guess grade 8, right? And I guess her parents were hippies, right? Because this is like I don't even know how long ago this would have been. But yeah, she gave me a container, a Sucrets container, the old metal ones, with 2 joints in it and a cartoon, like instructions of how to get baked, of little pictures of lighting the joint and smoking the joint. And she gave me it. I was like, oh, fuck, my parents are going to trip out because they're like pretty conservative. And anyways, I finally had a few puffs of it and I couldn't feel it the first time. So that was the very first
I swear
time.
That's how I was, man. I didn't feel shit the first. I want to say the first couple times I smoked.
Yeah.
I was like, man, what the fuck, bro? Like
the first time that I got baked though from cannabis was doing hot knives of hash in my buddy's kitchen, and all of a sudden I was so baked that was the first time that but I didn't really know if I was baked or what was going on. But then over time I realized that it was the first time. So I the first couple of times I didn't feel it though. I was doing I could do lots of knife hits, and then all of a sudden the one time it kicked in. I don't know. It's right. It's weird.
Yeah, the first time I ever I remember getting high, fucking totally baked. It was 4 fucking king-sized oranges, bro. And there was 4 people and we just passed them around. We could have just smoked a joint to to ourselves, but
Yeah.
Slow motion, bro.
I had a few funny experiences, the first time when your buddy is like, "Hey, dude, it's your time to buy a bag." I went through that one. I'm like, my answer was why would I buy weed? Everybody I know smokes fucking weed and makes me smoke it. And he's like, "No, dude, it's your turn."
It's your turn, bro.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
So that was kind of their introduction. And then it's who fucked up the joint? How come the joint's all wet? Who did that? And then you realize it's you. It's like, fuck. But those are all the little etiquettes when you don't pull the tube in the bong,
Right.
But all things.
I've seen quite a few people fucking totally fuck up bongs. Like get they'll end up coughing with their mouth on the bong, and then fucking water goes everywhere. It's shit's horrible.
The water and weed fucking shot.
Yeah. No, I like a good bong hit. Actually, like right now I'm testing all kinds of weed. I got like 5 different strains here that I'm trying to get through to figure out which one I'm going to go with next. And that's a good part of my job. But I use a bong just to see how fucking smooth this shit is. Because in a joint, a lot of times it's smooth when it's not smooth in a bong.
Yeah.
And so I like to hit, when I'm testing weed, I like to see the ash and smoke the joint and see the terp ring.
I like both, actually, man.
But to know how smooth it is, I need to hit it with the bong. And that's how I got a 2-pronged approach there. I take my testing seriously.
I mean, yeah, we do too here on Medical Mondays. We'll even put it in a fucking leaf. We'll roll up a fucking backwood. We'll do bong hits, joints, and backwoods. We gotta see the plethora, bro.
Yeah, I didn't know what it's all about. I wish I could find my little gold bag. We have cool bags for our product, so that's part of our thing. A lot of the companies don't do too much in packaging because they're just worried about it. But we came out with a gold bag. Even people were saying our logo is too big and everything. But we passed our compliance and people couldn't believe it. They're like, and now there's more people doing colored bags now and shit. So it's all good. It's fun. You know, being in the game right now, it's kind of like, on the one hand, like I know a lot about weed, but I'm learning a lot about business at the same time and how to run a company. And, you know, it's kind of like getting not so much payback, but, you know, to turn what happened at the Olympics around into something, you know, feels good. It feels good.
It's like a middle finger to the motherfuckers.
Yeah, man. You know it. Yeah. So, you know, the story's not over. There's actually a documentary that was in some film festivals in the United States this summer called Nagano Till Now. And,
oh, no way.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like my story. Well, it is my story. And so that's been in some film festivals in the States, Nagano till now. And we're going to it. There's the film festival in Whistler coming up that it's going to be in. I'm not supposed to say that. I just remembered, but that's happening. And
Medical Mondays exclusive.
Yeah, you know, everyone's going to book tickets to Vancouver, right? So, but you know, we got some cool interest in the story happening, and it's been percolating over the years. Like I've done quite a few podcasts south of the border in the United States, out of LA, some big ones there, and New York as well. Let's Be Blunt with Montel and a few others. We're definitely looking at coming down to the States with the brand when the timing is right for it. And yeah, we're just to be honest, like we're completely bootstrapping it. Like I've done this since February. I've done it on my credit card. Like literally, you know, we've got 5 SKUs out. We got 6 SKUs on the go. We're in Quebec and Ontario, which are the 2 most populated they have more than like 75% of the population of Canada, which isn't very big, by the way. California and Canada have the same population. So it's, you know, we're not.
It's probably a stupid question, but like, how do you guys weigh up sacks over there? Like, you know, 1/8 and quarters and all that shit. Because you guys, I mean, it's different over there, right?
It is, but 1/8 and quarters are.
Are they the norm?
Yeah, I mean, like an 1/8 is 3.5 grams.
Yeah.
right? A quarter is 7 grams. Like that's, you know, even in building, like when I was building houses, we use the standard system. We use the American system.
Cool.
Yeah. You know, it's all the same. Like we don't use the centimeters. Like if you're working on cars
Like
these
you,
days,
but you sell kilos of weed, right? Or do you sell pounds?
We're moving keys, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, how does that work? Like,
it just sounds cooler, you know, kg.
That's gangster. That just sounds cooler.
A little bit.
You know, pounds.
I mean, it does. It does sound cooler. I'll give you that. But he's selling keys.
And we work in keys because there's no explanation for it. I mean, in the one hand, we're saying, you know, I don't know what it's confusing actually.
No,
to be honest,
that's why I was asking.
But
the norm is like, you know, like what's the max you can buy at once in Canada? Like, because you can order weed and fucking have it shipped to your fucking door, right? It's like federally legal. Like you can order it from one side of the fucking country and get it.
Yeah.
Sent
Yeah,
to
you can order it. Stores can deliver it to your house also. Yeah, there's that. You're allowed to mail it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know
like
people who just order their weed online and get it.
But do you know?
To
you probably know this, but about a month ago, the Safe Banking Act in the United States gave the go-ahead for cannabis companies to use the banks. And the stocks in Canada, the pot stocks, jumped 80% that day.
That's crazy, man.
Right? And so
you can't buy stocks if you're American. Like you can't buy them in the American market.
The American companies are listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange.
Yeah. That's crazy to me.
Right. And so that's a move towards legalization right there. If you ask me.
Because they want to keep track of that money, see how much they can get from everybody.
Yeah, 100%. That's so it's who knows if it's good or bad, right? It is what it is. Like they're finally waking up to it, you know, and it's kind of like the dream everybody always had was that, well, you know, it should be legalized. But you know, in Canada, we were wearing around hats that said make weed illegal again.
Yeah, no, I mean we got them here too, bro. We got them here too.
Yeah. So you know, I guess, and then if it goes legal, then what you have to do is you people have to get involved, and you know, to so that the regulations are, you know, make sense and everything like that. And so that was kind of the problem here when it went legal. Is like not enough people were able to influence or, you know, lobby the government to make sure that everyone had a fair chance, right? And of course that was done on purpose, most likely.
Definitely.
You know, a lot of money was made in the beginning when the companies started going public back in 2008 or whenever that was. And yeah, you know, now, you know, the valuations have gone down like 90% or something like that since the peak. But with things like the Safe Banking Act, all of a sudden, you know, it's created a little bit of interest, and you know, Europe's also going in the same direction. The EU's looking at it, and so it's getting, you know, the whole business is kind of heating up, right? And so it's exciting.
So over in Canada, like, how is it with the expungements? Do you guys have like expungement programs that, like, if people got arrested for weed, you can like get it taken off your record type shit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have that.
Like, is it automatic or you gotta do it yourself?
I think it's automatic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was automatic, and they did. They also
they have that in certain states where it's automatic, but
Right.
In Michigan, you gotta fucking file that shit yourself.
You have to do it yourself. Yeah.
Or get a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that they also let people out of jail that were in jail. As long as it didn't involve like a firearm. I think that was the main thing. If it involved any kind of firearm, then they treated it different.
Yeah, it's different over in Canada, but still here, well, at least here in Michigan, if you get caught with, even if you have a medical card, you get caught with a fucking gun, it's considered drugs and weapons.
Yeah. Then you're kind of in a category, a special category.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't, I mean, we have on the gun side of things, we got just as many guns per capita in Canada. And for all I know, people are rolling around with them. I don't fucking know. I don't roll like that. I'm at home right now where I'm always at home. If you want to get me, you have to come to my house.
Very state to state, you know. I mean, I'm sure in Michigan we got plenty of fucking guns, especially hunters and everything. But like, we probably have nothing compared to Texas. And like, Texas, like everybody has a fucking gun, man.
Yeah, I mean that's a cultural, the thing, and for whatever reason, wherever people live, kind of grow up in a different reality, and our countries are so huge, man. Like all of Europe can fit inside of our province in British Columbia like 10 times.
Right.
Like all the countries in Europe. And that's only like a fifth of the country, right? Like America is huge. Like compared to other countries, that it's massive, right? Like there's only a few countries that are that big, right?
Well, Russia dwarfs us. Well, the former
Russia was pretty big. Yeah, it was a crazy. What was that? The Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
The Empire Strikes Back.
For sure. Going on now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
if everybody had to smoke weed, bro.
That's it. We need to do some airdrops.
World peace, man. World peace.
World peace. We just plant this, just drop seeds out of airplanes all over the place, and it'll just goes like that. I think that's the system, man. Yeah, no, it's a little tense out there these days,
Definitely.
It's definitely on multiple fronts. There's shit going down, man. Like what was like before, I used to fly to Europe all the time. Okay, like on the World Cup tour, I was going back and forth like 6 times a year, and to Japan and all across around America and Canada, and it's not that much fun these days when your travel schedule is like that, with all the tensions going on around the world. Like I mean, when we had the heyday, like of being able to travel in the 90s, man, like when it was like normal to go to Europe for the summer vacation or whatever, when you get out of high school.
We go to Canada all the time because it's right across the river from us,
right
in Detroit. Like we go there.
What do you do
every
there?
Weekend.
What do you do there?
Well, we get drunk as fuck because you can fucking
because
you can drink at 19.
That's what it is.
You could drink it when you're 19. So it was right. Like as soon as we got off the bridge, we were home. Like we lived in Southwest Detroit.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
You could fake ID it. No check, no verification necessary.
That's
like
a different time.
We've done shit that I don't even want to talk about over there.
Yeah, we call that pre 9/11.
Pre 9/11.
When you could just move freely about the world.
Right. Yeah. speaking of that, I got on the no-fly list.
No
after 9/11.
passport, no enhanced ID, nothing. Just show them your ID and boom, you're through.
We could
Whoa,
just
you're
get in
going
with
to
our
the casino? Oh,
yeah.
you're going to the casino? Yeah, we're just going to the casino. Yeah.
Now you have to show a passport and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can get
How
enhanced
did you end
ID.
up on a how did you end up on the no-fly list?
Some just because it was a blanket, someone just pushed like the Control Alt button and fucking sent the email to anybody that was in the system after 9/11 got on the no-fly list.
Oh shit.
And so I was flagged for being a known person to
What?
promote a Schedule 1 substance.
You were an international drug user?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's
baller status.
Yeah. So now I've got
You
this.
should tell people you're pushing keys over in Japan.
Oh man. I was this close away from having Yakuza fucking ink all over me. Like literally so close.
That's crazy.
It would have been, I would have just been getting out now, probably fucking 25 years later,
Crazy, man.
But yeah, it was, a different time. And we lived through that whole era of prohibition. And, we saw the legalization coming, and we were part of the gray market with the store and, growing in the gray market, becoming a grower over the years, and the whole like in between struggle of life, right? Like I've got 3 kids and the whole, like, right? Like everything going on. Right. And so, now we're finally at a point where we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's like, when the baby comes, it's like, yeah, your wife's not pregnant anymore, but now you have a baby, right? And that's where we're at with the company. Like we just launched in February, even though it's been going on forever, right? Let's see, hang on a second. Someone's calling me. Gone. Anyways, so, and the times are crazy right now with interest rates in Canada have been going up, inflation's been going up, all kind of things are happening because people financed their houses when interest rates were like low, and now that shit's coming up again, and it's going to be like another bubble, when those mortgages have to get renewed. Yeah, man. And
it's like it's the same all the way around the world, bro. They got so many like fucking apartment buildings in China that aren't even occupied. It's just a thing over in China to keep on developing.
Yeah.
And that's a whole industry that they want to keep employed.
They got these ghost cities with just no window frames, cement floors, because they're like, why the fuck would we put something in there? It'll just be worth less because the next people are just going to rip it out again.
Yeah. And people are buying like real estate up in the sky, bro. Like in these fucking, it's crazy.
That's coming to a head right now. It's actually the deck of cards it's about to. So that's kind of happening at the same time as this is happening here. And plus you have all this geopolitical tension happening. We're at a crossroads right now, man. We better start growing some serious weed and get it out.
No, we need to get the world high, man. We need to get the world high.
Yeah. So that's like definitely a 2-joint conversation, I would say. That was a little too high level. I didn't mean to go high level.
No,
like
it's we're just going with the flow, man. We're talking about
stay a little political, but let's bring it back towards sports. So I don't know if you're aware or not. I know you're a very busy man, but the World Anti-Doping Agency convened and gave their opinion on cannabis, due to all of these, things like that we were discussing, all these conversations that are being had, Major League Baseball, the NFL, even, the
And NBA,
NCAA,
NBA.
yeah, NBA, like all these sports organizations and athletes are coming out now about cannabis. And despite all of this, you know, proof and testimony, they still, rejected cannabis and said that it was against the spirit of the sport and that these athletes were unfit role models. So there's like
And
four things that they base this opinion on. And it's like excellence in performance, character and education, respect for the rules and laws, and respect for self and participants. And they feel that if you at any point or have cannabis in your system, you're incapable of complying with these four tenets of sport.
whoa,
Yeah, like that's what I'm
that's
saying.
pretty harsh.
It's kind of, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that like hurts my feelings almost.
Well, and
No,
I
like
guess
in
that's what I was gonna
reality,
ask you,
man,
man, because like,
the NFL should be the first ones to allow fucking people, because man,
yeah,
so much fucking shaking of the
You let
brain,
me.
bro.
Hey, you
It
guys,
like fucks them up.
I gotta put you on hold. My wife is calling me again.
Oh, all right,
Just
for
give me
sure.
2 seconds.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hello.
Nah, you can duck out and come back if you want. I muted you. My bad. I wasn't.
Yeah, I'll unmute. I tried to answer it. That's what I'll say. I tried, man. I was in the middle of a podcast. Like she popped her head in. She knew I was in a podcast. So we're good though.
Yeah, throw
well,
us under
yeah,
the bus, man.
We're good.
yeah, man,
We,
painless, man, it's fine. But
we've
the
been.
question that I wanted to ask you was, not to hurt your feelings or anything, but when all these things were happening to you, you were relatively a young guy. When you started smoking cannabis, I'm gonna, that was young. These are, decisions of an adolescent, a teen, a young man. But now you're a father. You've built a business from cannabis.
Mhm.
So, in hindsight, 2020, do you think that you complied with those four things? Do you think that athletes are capable of filling those four tenets and have any cannabis use? Or what do would you say would be, how would you quantify,
I would
the legal
say that you
that should
can.
exist?
Yeah. No, I mean that's a fair question. But to be honest, I think you can double down on it. I think that cannabis has no bearing whatsoever on your ability to be a parent or to make conscious, correct, moral, to the benefit of society decisions. Like I don't see how, you know, that could be, it's just being misconstrued by the fact that so many different people use cannabis. They're probably using a segment of that cannabis use as an example where there may be more disruption in one community or another for one reason or another, where they're picking the worst case scenarios out of all of society to show how bad it is. But really it's so widespread that it's not like that at all. I mean, as far as being a parent is concerned, I think it's a healthy choice. I mean, I stopped drinking like 5 years ago. I'm 52 now. I stopped drinking 5 years ago because I actually figured it out, what was going on with the drinking. And I was getting good at drinking. Like I would wake up early in the morning and deal with shit and do stuff. But there was a bunch of realizations that I had where I realized it was influencing every fucking little thing, every decision, even when I wasn't drinking. It was in my system, and I'm making these like life calls, having a family, kids, dealing with life. not to mention my past and how I had to process it. And it was all being influenced by, and so I figured it out, and I completely cut it out like 5 years ago. I lose track. This could be longer, but anyway, I'm 100% on weed,
man. I didn't want to interrupt you because, like, you were speaking the gospel right there. It doesn't have a bearing on how people operate morally or as a parent or anything like that. I was more so asking you to look back upon yourself as that athlete who was testing positive for cannabis, or other athletes, with the wisdom now of, a father, a family man, a business owner. And do you feel like there was something not there? Has your opinion changed?
No, hasn't changed. I felt like cannabis was a healthy choice before the Olympics, and I kind of figured it out on my own because, in those days I was 26 at the Olympics, and so prior to that I was in my early 20s and traveling around the world on the World Cup tour, sponsored awesome parties at everywhere we went, parties, right? And also not very much weed. So mostly drinking and just parties that were thrown by whatever ski resorts we were at. And yeah, like, just like you think, like, hotels got trashed by some athletes and cars got crashed and it was a fucking gong show, like, for sure. Just like any tour that you could imagine, like pro snowboarding, like what other tour is like pro snowboarding in those days prior to the Olympics, right? Like it was like a rock concert basically with a sporting event on the side, right? And so anyways, that's why the X Games got so big. That's why it got to the Olympics, because we had those viewers that the Olympics needed at the time to be a viable business. And now snowboarding is like the #1 viewed event in all of the events, maybe only second to hockey. I'm not sure about that, but
why not,
so,
man?
I know.
You can have it, bro. I just checked. True story.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, it was, and we tried to not like smoke weed for the Olympics. Like we fucking tried not to. Like no one told us how not to. Like, how long do you have to stop? Like no one, we couldn't find out anything.
It's different for everybody. It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
It's
and 25 years
soluble.
ago, we couldn't look it up on Google 25 years ago and find out everything. You weren't even allowed to have information about weed. And so the doctors definitely didn't know anything. They still don't, right? Let alone 25 years ago. So we were on our own, and yeah,
everybody's different though,
it's true. Your body mass index makes a difference, right? Like if the lighter you are, the less body fat you have, the quicker it's out of your system. But
that was totally the answer I was hoping you were going to give, because if you're an athlete and you're performing at this peak level, like, you're regulating yourself. You know what to do. If it's going to inhibit you, you're definitely not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going out and like intentionally spraining ankles or falling downstairs the night before.
Right.
Like, you want to be at your fucking best.
100%. But having said that, there is a beer garden and like things for the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's crazy.
So you are allowed to
find.
You're allowed to have a drink the night before. Yeah, you're allowed to. And so that's interesting. Like, even if we were allowed to smoke weed at the Olympics, I wouldn't have smoked weed before my run.
Right.
I wouldn't have wanted to, man. All the pressure and the fucking like the TV cameras, and the fact that you're at the Olympics for the first time in history, like, it's just not conducive
immediately
to.
After though.
It's
That
not
would be
part of
like the Disneyland moment.
it's
What are you gonna
totally
do now
like,
that
yeah.
you've won the gold medal for snowboarding? I'm gonna smoke some
Fucking
Ross Gold.
smoke some gold, baby. That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you smoke
I
weed in there.
think,
Like,
I think,
not
I
before.
think one day, man. Hopefully before we die, man, there's gonna be an international fucking
It's
weed
coming.
person.
Yeah. Yeah.
While
The
still
EU.
being an athlete, while still being an athlete. I'm not talking about retiring. So, and basically, you were forced to retire early, huh? Like, because you lost
Yeah.
your sponsorships and all that shit, right?
Yeah. I lost some sponsors.
That's bullshit.
I got on, it was difficult for me to travel, like to go into the United States, and just the focus that you need anyways. This wasn't there with the whole controversy and the fact that there was, that on the one side, I had the huge support of the cannabis community on an international level, which was amazing, but it was hard to get to me until the internet turned on. So I assumed that I had quite a bit of support from the cannabis community, but when High Times put me in their magazine, then I had some confirmation. Okay, I got noticed by High Times. Okay, so, but there was a lot of mail that came through that wasn't fan mail and stuff like that, and not, getting on the no-fly list and how it impacts you psychologically for that to happen. Like, let alone that I can't go down to Oregon anymore and surf and go to the Hood River and kite sail and do all the things that I used to do all the time. I just have to make Canada my home. But having said that, I do have finally advanced parole. And now I can turn myself in when I go to the border. And they put me into secondary, and I have to tell them my story, and then they have to corroborate it on their end that I'm telling them the correct story. And it's just been a roadblock, right? Like, it's not something that I would choose, so basically, yeah, I've had to come, through all of that and just like deal with it on whatever level. And, hopefully we can get weed legalized and we can put this all behind us.
Yeah, no doubt.
But we got some like cool, like there's the documentary that's coming out. It's pretty interesting. And then we're working on another film project as we speak now. Probably it'll be a couple of years before that's finished. But yeah, we got some things on the go. It's going to be an interesting, the cannabis industry is changing rapidly. New products coming out all the time, new growing methods, you name it. The big consolidation of brands is going to be the next thing, where we have too many brands right now, too many companies. We'll get bought up by the big companies. So that's probably something that is going to happen in the States as well once things go on a federal level. And it's going to be interesting to see who those big companies turn out to be, what the brands turn out to be that they keep. And it's kind of like the automotive industry just getting going right now. Like, who are the brands, right? We're going to have your big three. Is it going to be the big 10? Like, what's it going to look like?
Bro, that's but Chrysler ain't even Chrysler anymore. You know that?
Pontiac's gone.
Fiat. They're like Fiat owned. They're owned by Fiat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it's crazy. It started off as Chrysler, then it was Daimler Chrysler, and then now Fiat bought that. You don't even know.
I think there was a big win for the auto workers recently. I think they signed some better deals, I think I heard.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So that's good. But crazy about you know, the way things are rolling out, it's just like what you would expect. And it's the same thing that happened in snowboarding, you know, in the 80s and early 90s. There was a ton of different snowboard companies compared to now. Like there's way less snowboard companies than there used to be. And you know,
They all got bought out. Do you know Converse or no, was it Converse? Yeah, it was Converse. They got bought out by Nike.
Oh,
So
really?
Nike owns Converse now. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they own the Chucks.
I got a cool Nike story. I was on my way down to Mount Hood in Oregon to train the fall before the Olympics, and stopped in at Nike headquarters on my way through and talked to the team manager because Nike sponsored the Canadian team that year. The clothing that we got was by Nike. And so I rolled in with my fucking Dodge and my camper into park next to the Porsches in the parking lot, and go and talk to the team manager. And he's like, "Oh yeah, what's going on? You got the Olympics coming up. That's pretty sick. Right on. You're going to qualify." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to fucking qualify. And I'm here to tell you I'm going to fucking win it too." So I just wanted to let you know that. I just thought it'd be interesting. I sometimes get a feeling about some of these big races. And so anyways, I rolled out after that. He wished me luck, you know, hooked me up at the Nike store. And I went out to training. And so they were in the fucking finish line.
No way. The guys that we
Inside
seen at Nike, they were at the finish line.
Inside the finish line, like special access. And they were like so pumped. They couldn't even believe it that I came in and met with them before I went and said that. And the next day they disappeared forever, like never heard from them ever again.
Oh, because of the weed shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Nike. Fuck you, Nike.
No. We got all the Jordans though. Like I have hope, man. I have hope, because like honestly, like you can't blame them, right? Like at the time, like it would have been it would have been suicide for them, maybe, or who knows. But
Jordan wouldn't have been like that. Yeah.
Jordan, yeah, I don't think he smoked too much weed, but no, I mean those were some of the. I mean that's just part of. You know, it's just a fun little story. You know, I used to walk around with, you know, I used to be upset about it. Let's be honest about it. Okay. Like I used to be upset about a lot of things I was upset about. And, you know, that's been,
I mean, a lot of people, it was the stereotype at that time, you know,
yeah.
like, especially in Japan, they don't fuck around like that. And
no.
I mean, they made you look like you were using weed at the Olympics. You know what I mean? When it was only in your system.
Yeah.
And they weren't explaining how weed stayed in your system back then.
No.
You know?
No. But they did.
Drugs were supposed to be out of your system within days because they fuck around with all that synthetic shit, bro.
Yeah. That's supposed to go away.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to have cannabis in our system so our receptors fucking hold it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I lost my train of thought. I had something good to say, but no, we're definitely in a different time, right? But at the same time, there's still a lot of work to do. There's, you know, so I don't know. I think it might become an election issue. If it does, then I think, you know, we're going to see legalization. But in any case, even if it never does, you know, the weed business in America is like off the charts, right? Like one way or the other, like it looks crazy to me from my perspective. It seems like, you know, it's like the Wild West as far as like making money goes. Like anything's on the table, you know, but there's definitely an emphasis on quality and stuff like that. And the people who know, right? But just in general, when I look at it, because on my feed on Instagram, it's all I get, right? A bunch of plugs from all around America following me. I have a few followers, not too many, I have a few. And it's definitely, reminds us of what it was like here before legalization. But you would think that they would want to get the tax money from it.
Right.
That it's a no-brainer if it's in all the states already. Like, there's so much money.
So do you still snowboard, like just for fun? Like,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Nitro Snowboards has been sending me gear for the last few years. And I'm coaching the local freeride team here at Apex Mountain. And my kids all ski and snowboard also. The youngest boy, he's 8, plays hockey. My oldest boy is a football player. He's 14. And my daughter's a dancer and does all kind of like acting and dancing and stuff like that. So, we kind of got the whole thing covered. But yeah, man, it's a full-on lifestyle, I'll tell you that. And cannabis definitely helps me keep it all like in order, as opposed to, some other choices that people make out there. It's definitely a way where I can like deal with everything, not to worry too much about the big picture and but to generally just try to do the best you can every day. That's my motto. Whatever it is, just do the best you can. So that's what we do. Plus, I need to roll. Probably roll up another little doop here.
Yeah, that's what I find myself doing right now at the moment.
I rolled up before the show.
Yeah. That was organized W. Pre-roll. Now pre-rolls a skew.
I guess that was a I pre-roll all the time.
But I hope I didn't go off on too many tangents or whatever.
No. Like right now,
My
like
wife.
what's your preference? You still a big flower guy? Or do you dab too? Or
Since the kids are around all the time so much, it's hard to have a dab rig out.
right. I could just
And
imagine, man.
so
But I know people who dab only because they got their kids around and they don't want it to be smelling like weed and da 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 da.
Well, that's just, they shouldn't worry about it.
They should be. Well, I don't even want to say.
That's the whole the debate, right? Like how you treat it with your kids, and we kind of just like are open with it, and we don't awesome. We don't use weed like in front of the kids while they're watching like a cartoon or something like that. But if we're walking around in the yard, for example, and I'm smoking a joint and one of the kids is around, like, I don't care,
Yeah, you're outside.
If you're smoking a joint or if you're drinking a beer and your kid's around you and you're drinking a beer in the backyard, like,
oh, that's the norm though.
It's the exact same. It's the exact same.
No,
thing.
It is. And it's probably better in my opinion.
Oh, it's 100%. 100%. It's calories, low in calories, right? Like you're not, as from a health perspective, there's no calories, there's no carbs, right? So just on that level. But, and I'm not like, to each his own, like that's what I do. Everyone has a way of getting through shit and dealing with shit. And I've dealt with shit in lots of ways that weren't, productive, let's say. So I find that if I just like keep it to weed, man. I can handle all the things I need to do. Whatever, business, family, hockey practice. You know, at the end of the day, if I was drinking already from the, you know, since the middle of the day, like I wouldn't even do the podcast.
Right. You started off
Right.
early. No, I know.
You know,
it was the norm back when it was like, you know, when we were kids. I knew
Yeah.
everybody. Like my
100%.
whole family would get tanked on the holidays, you know.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
the norm.
completely normal. It was totally
Mhm.
normal. In fact, it was so normal, it was weird if you didn't drink, right?
Yeah. And
And it
then
was
this,
more weird.
yeah,
So
it was.
that's weird in itself, you know?
You're not drinking? What?
So, I mean, I think that, you know, everybody, the more intense my life got with all those things, the more I realized I needed to stop drinking because I got too much shit actually for real, not just a bad day at work. Like I got a lot of fucking shit I'm dealing with that's not from work. I also have work shit
Right.
and family shit and whatever. Like I came back from the Olympics like with a bunch of shit on my shoulders and more shit happening every year. Like the no-fly list was 2002. That was 4 years later, right? Like all different things happening continually over time. Like, and you know, it was, for me, it was just about overcoming it and how I was gonna, the best way for me to overcome it was for me to cut out the drinking and fucking focus on just using cannabis, like on that level for whatever depression. Like I feel good physically. Like I don't have very many like aches and pains or whatever, probably from smoking so many joints. But
Right.
you know, for me, it's more like on a
It's better
psychological
than
level.
pills and
100%.
and alcohol. I mean, that
Yeah.
shit kills your liver, man. It's synthetic.
Right.
Man.
And now with the drinks, like we like to get the drinks now. And you know, have a few drinks. And then if we show up at someone's house on a rare occasion, we'll bring like, you know, cannabis drinks with us and sit back and drink a couple cannabis drinks. Because you know, they're smoking weed. I don't want to be the guy that's always smoking weed. Of course Ross is smoking weed, you know. Like I'm the guy.
Shout out to Native Maid. She makes that syrup. It's just syrup. You could add it to a drink or do shots of that shit, man. Get fucked.
That sounds good. It's like the lean.
Yeah.
But
fire.
No, I mean
blue raspberry. Raspberry. That's my favorite.
Can imagine. We've got a few. I've got this product coming out. It's called the Gold Stick, and it's basically like an infused stick that you can jam into your joint. And
no way!
Yeah, it's infused with diamonds.
But what is it though?
It's
I've seen those before.
It's a specially made hemp fiber infused stick, and you can have it with THC, with CBD, just CBD, whatever, 1-to-1. We're also doing diamonds and diamond infused sticks, and you can jam them in your joint after it's rolled, or if you're a good roller, like a lot of us are potentially, you just roll it into your joint and boom.
Yeah, it's like snake in the grass for dummies.
Yeah, you don't have all the extract or whatever. And you know, in Europe, they smoke a lot of cigarettes in Europe, and they mostly smoke weed with tobacco for some reason.
My cousin went over there and he got called. He was told he was wasting the weed because he was smoking it just weed.
Yeah. When they saw me smoking it just with weed, they said I was being irresponsible.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
that
that's what it was.
I'm like, what are you
It's
talking
crazy.
about? So, but they take the stick and they jam it into their cigarettes, so they don't have to like roll a joint. And so
Oh
that's
wow.
what they're doing in Europe. But you know, in different parts of Canada, like we smoke more cigarettes in different parts of Canada than others. So
Yeah.
we don't promote that use. Like I actually shouldn't even be talking about
No,
that.
I fucking tell everybody if you're not smoking already, stay the fuck away, man. You don't even
Yeah.
want to.
No, no. I think Ooh, phone's dying.
So, appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for thinking of me. And you know, I don't even know how I came across you guys, but I appreciate it.
T-Dog originally told me about you.
Oh, really? Hey,
Yeah.
excellent. We should have a shout out to T-Dog.
Shout out T-Dog.
Yeah.
But before you get out of here, man, I got one question for you. So, like, in all of this, you know, going back to the Olympics, um, did you ever figure out, or did you have a short list of people who actually, you know, quote unquote snitched, who actually was, do you think, complained or came up with even the notion? Because like you said, it wasn't even something that they were testing for. What made it? Who was the person who, just say, after all these many years, man, exposed them?
The first time they ever gave back a medal. Also. So someone made a mistake.
Right.
Like they know what their list is. Right? They know their list. They know other athletes also tested positive for weed in the past that also won. And that story never came out. I don't know, man. Maybe look at the results. Like who was in the top 10? You know?
It was definitely one of them.
There's like there's you know, there's definitely you know, there's been time to reflect on things. And you know, I played it, you know, I tried to play it like cool, and I didn't want any more trouble for myself either than I already was in. Like you know, I already wasn't getting paid for anything and didn't, you know, have a way to like cause more trouble. Like if I was.
So who came in second, man? Who came in second?
I think Thomas Pruger.
Where's he from?
Italy.
US? Italy?
Mm-hmm.
And then who came in third?
Uli Kastenhof from Switzerland.
Oh shit. Do you know who came in fourth? They don't even say that shit, do they?
And that's the thing. I can't quite remember.
They was I don't know.
What were you gonna say?
The US, man. I think if they were in the fourth, man, it could have been the US, man. They're the ones who fucking put, you know, marijuana into the fucking world being a fucking bad thing.
Right? So I mean, like I said, it's like the Olympics is geopolitical, and they're going for, you know, medal count, right? That's the point of it. Medal count. You're going up against China. You're going up against Russia. You're going up against whoever, everybody, you know, and you want to, and maybe I got it. I got caught up in that because of prohibition, and
No, I think so, man. Like if that's like that's crazy. I wonder what happens nowadays because it's still on.
Yeah, it's still on. They've allowed CBD use, so that's nice that at least there's that. But they've also raised the level of allowable THC 1,000% since they added it in '98 after me to the list of banned substances. The IOC didn't have it on the list.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Whoever was in ports, man, I think it was them.
Oh my God. There's definitely
because if they would have took yours away, they would have gave it to second place, or I don't know how that works.
Yeah, second would have been first
and so on.
so
And
forth.
third would have been, I mean, fourth would have been third. So he would have been on the
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the results. It seems like Italy came in silver, and Switzerland in third, but
yeah, that's what he said.
France, the USA, Austria, the Netherlands, they're all in there.
They're all scattered around.
Likely suspects.
It's a clue, a mystery.
Our country, man.
It's a mystery. I actually, like, to be honest, like there's been almost no speculation on my part about it over the years. As to, like, I can't really explain that in retrospect.
Jog, you can add cannabis to that. You're gonna be that little factoid, bro. You're gonna be known as
it's in Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
It's in Trivial Pursuit.
Is it?
Yeah.
You're in Trivial Pursuit?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
No. Not because of weed, though.
That would
They
be
don't.
gangster.
I think yeah, it was funny. I did get some. Robin Williams did a thing at the New York Live. His show there at the time. It was a long time ago. Saturday Night Live did skits about it with Will Ferrell, and before Will Ferrell was kind of as big as he got. But anyways, yeah, it was just like a fun story. Like, to be honest, like, obviously it was a fun story, and
Have you met Cheech and Chong?
I haven't met those guys yet.
Oh,
I have not. We've crossed paths, but I taught Tommy's son how to snowboard back in the summer of '88. And Tommy Chong has a house in North Vancouver where I grew up. And so they were always around Whistler, and so he's a big part of the cannabis scene here in British Columbia. But yeah, what the fuck were we talking about again? Keep forgetting. Oh yeah, the conspiracy theories. I don't know.
No, that was towards the
we
beginning of the show.
Were off of that. You were just saying it was a great ride.
Yeah, we were figuring out which country it was. I still have to say it was the U.S. Man.
It would be an interesting story. Like, if they made.
Oh yeah.
They could make, just with like no actual actual factual details, you could make a movie from that shit.
I'm just saying, you're a little cannabis factoid now, dog. Like, right. You're gonna be.
Yeah, well, those are some, big shoes to fill. Like that, I don't think on those terms, right? Like, yeah, I got a brand, saying, right? I don't think on those terms. Like, I got a brand here, but that's what it's boiled down to is self-promotion and getting behind something that matters. And that's what we're trying to convey to people.
Definitely.
You know, not just through the brand and what I say and everything, but just like literally like through my actions, like how I live, you know, how I get through my day to day. This, you know, I can speak to it. And I'm not just a guy that owns a cannabis company, you know, like there's a reason I'm here. Okay, guys,
Definitely.
like it's not like everybody else's story. I got my own story.
Oh shit.
But you
It was
know, Austria.
What'd you say?
I said, or
Martin,
it was Austria, because if he got disqualified, they would have got a bronze as
really?
opposed to
Oh,
nothing.
Austria.
Yeah.
Was it Krasnik?
Yeah, Dieter Krasnik. Yeah.
It was Krasnik.
Oh, that sounds like a German
Look,
name.
he's like, it was Krasnik.
Yeah, it was him.
This is like
We
is like James
solved it.
Bond.
We solved it on Medical Mondays, yo.
Investigative journalism.
Yeah, that's excellent. I've always sort of pondered it, but very slightly, and you actually like picked up on it and
that we
thought
always
about it a little bit. Because I
Mm-hmm.
just don't have time to, but that kind of makes sense. It's a little bit eerie actually, because Austria is, you know, it's one of my favorite countries. Like I've been to raced there lots of times. They make KTM dirt bikes, right? Like they do a bunch of cool stuff, you know, on that level. But they also have like an amazing snowboard culture and cannabis culture. Like they probably have one of the, besides Holland, I would say.
Yeah, you've been around the fucking world, bro. That's fucking it's gangster.
Yeah, I spent Christmas in Europe
citizen.
a few times. Yeah. So it's gave me the insight a little bit on, you know, because of Amsterdam. Yeah.
I've never been. I heard the weed ain't even worth going. It's the environment.
Yeah, exactly. But it's nice that you can get weed there. Like if you fly to Austria, for example, like good luck finding a guy to buy some hash from or any kind of weed, right? But if you go to Holland, boom, you just go to first thing you do is go to a store and buy some weed. And so that's nice. And then you can go on your vacation. But in Switzerland, they had scented bags back in the 90s. And you go to the drugstore and you buy a scented bag. Basically, it was like a whole branch of weed inside a baguette bag. And it was for aromatherapy. And we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. And so that was classic. We thought we were going to get in trouble too. It was so heaty. We were at the ski resort in Switzerland smoking weed. You know, everywhere we went, wherever we smoked weed, it was always heaty. Like no matter where we were, because of the times, because it was the 90s. And like we used to. There was one place
we used to go on missions for weed, but weed missions.
You almost had to wait for the
many of weed missions.
Oh my god, that's what it was. Where are you going to hook up? How long are you going to be out for? Oh my god, you know. But you also had to forget about it. Like just in my situation, being on tour, it kind of almost had to come to you if you were going to get it. Like all of a sudden, the guy's like, "Dude, you want some weed?" I'm like, "Fucking right, I want some weed." And I remember smoking
That's
weed.
my goal in life, to know like somebody from everywhere. So if I ever go there, I'll know where to get some weed, bro.
That is. And that's what we had set up over time.
Definitely.
Yeah. After we figured out, because the first year on tour, like I didn't know anybody, you know. And then by 7 years, like I was in with the the whole weed crew on tour. I knew which guy to hit up when we were in Italy, if we were in Austria, wherever we were. And of course, all those guys would hit me up in Whistler when we would race the World Cup in Whistler. So then there was a lot of responsibilities I had besides.
They were like, "It's your turn."
Yeah, it's your turn.
It's your turn.
But we just would KO them with the BC bud. Like they weren't used to it in Europe, and being from Europe at the time. And they were just comatose from it. It was funny. It was funny. But,
back home had the better weed out of everywhere you smoked.
Yeah. I did miss the authentic like Afghani hash that you would get in Europe. That is really nice. But the buds at the time, like there was probably some already in Amsterdam. Like White Widow came from BC and became like the all-time winner or something like that in the Amsterdam competitions and stuff like that. But we were there before all that happened, and so it was still like fire and everything. And of course, we were also on tour and not smoking very much weed, so we'd get extra baked, you know, when we would finally make it to Amsterdam for Christmas. But yeah, it was, you know, you just didn't get the same smell. Like it wasn't as like dank and sticky and all that, you know, the way it was at home. So that kind of, for the most part, Europe wasn't there yet at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they were starting to figure it out, you know, I think, and probably everybody was starting to figure it out. And probably because of the fact that the United States is right beside us is why it started becoming a thing here.
Definitely.
You know, because we were supplying, you know, the US because before they were getting, you know, the US was getting it from Mexico. And then when the BC bud started coming in, that started being like people were buying 747s and filling them up. Like it was out of hand, right?
Yeah, that was a big boom back in the day.
Yeah. That was a big boom. And probably why it had to eventually get legalized before, you know, it got too big or whatever. Like it was getting to the point where, I mean, it was amazing for the economy in Canada. Like all that money was getting spent on lots of different things.
Oh, it was amazing here in Michigan before recreational was passed.
Right.
There's definitely enough to go around, bro. It's all about greed nowadays.
Yeah. Well, we're 5 years into legalization and still more than 50% is not legal. So there's that. That's an interesting point. But the other part of it, because a study today came out, because it's actually the anniversary, I think, coming up on legalization 5 years ago. And Mitchell Osak, he did the review, the 5-year review for the federal government on cannabis and the medical numbers. There was like no hospital visits. There was no car incidents. There was not an uptick in teenage use since legalization 5 years ago. It hasn't changed. Teenagers were already using it 5 years ago.
Right.
But all these numbers that were expected to spike, or somehow like there was going to be more accidents or something like that, never came to be. And it's just opening the road now for.
I mean,
you know,
I say
more.
Colorado, as far as like, I want to say the fatalities from drunk driving went down dramatically in Denver alone, in Colorado.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah. I think consumption, it was down here too, like in general. Alcohol consumption since legalization has dropped. So it's just the numbers, right? It's just pure numbers. It's, you know, it is what it is. So for whatever reason, but it speaks well for, you know, the whole business and cannabis in general to hopefully normalize it and deregulate it. So it's like tomatoes, you know, you're going to have your fancy tomatoes and your ones that you grow at home or whatever, right? Like who cares? So hopefully that we can get to some sort of place. That sounds like you guys have something good with you can grow enough plants that, you know, makes sense at least.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
at least keep it or make it better, man.
You know, it does seem to be like parallel fates between the United States and Canada when it comes to cannabis and how things are progressing. But you know, nothing's perfect. So I guess, you know, if there was one thing that you could change about the perception of cannabis in Canada, or what would you say is the biggest obstacle cannabis faces in Canada?
I'd say for like the business owner who's in the cannabis business, the biggest obstacle is just the amount of taxation that there is. The margins are so small that almost nobody's making money right now. And so that's probably like the number one thing. Number two, they need to like open it up more. If you can buy a beer, you should be able to buy like a cannabis drink.
Definitely.
Right? Like if you're at a restaurant eating, you want to order a wine or a cannabis drink.
Or
what is it? What's
dessert
it
or something like that, you know?
Infused dessert. Anywhere you can buy alcohol, you should be able to have an option, you know, to drink cannabis, or maybe have some sort of consumption lounge, or make it more easily accessible to have like a public.
I would definitely go on a weed tour, like a weed cruise.
Yeah,
there was a cannabis cruise. Man,
that's a good idea. That's a great idea. Have big buds on the side of it, like behind you there. I could see that. No, and that, you know, that's probably where I'd like to see it. Have flights where you can, you know, order a cannabis drink on an airplane instead of a beer. You know, that kind of thing. Or maybe some edibles, some gummies or something.
Yeah. Instead of peanuts.
Yeah, and whatever. But I think a lot of different places where they could, you know, and also like get the tax from it. Like at the end of the day, like they could grow their business just by allowing us to do more. And, you know, the dosages is too low right now. You can only have like 100 milligrams in a container. So you can have like 10 milligram gummies, but that's not effective if you're dealing with something on a medical level. Like, you know, an effective dose, you need to have like 2, 3, 4, 500, 1,000 milligrams, whatever it is. And so they do have that. We do have a pretty good medical system. So you can, but the thing is like 100 milligrams, like you should be able to buy more, right?
Right.
So like when it comes to drinks, you can only buy so many drinks until you get to 100 milligrams.
Yeah. Well, even if you order online or that type of shit, you got to buy at the store.
I've only, because I wanted to buy us, you know, a couple of 6-packs of this stuff, and it was like more than, you know, and so they gave it to me anyway. I think that's what they're doing. They give it to you anyway, but it just kind of goes against but the thing is, if you're going camping or something, like you need more than, you know, you want to have enough for your whole trip.
You want to stock up?
Right.
You want to stock
You
up,
want to
or you don't
stock
want
the
to go.
fridge.
You don't want to go to the store every day for your drink.
No.
But, you know. So anyway, there's things. But I think that we can get around it all. It's just a matter of time, and more numbers to prove it. The thing is the tax. Always the tax. There's too much tax. There's taxes on top of taxes. Like you're paying a tax that already was partially a tax, and so it's a double. Anyway,
Tax on tax on tax.
yeah. So that's the thing with the federal thing. All of a sudden you have, because we have provincial taxes, and then now that there's federal taxes. So starts getting complicated. But the good thing is they're talking about it. So anyway.
Yeah, no, that is the problem, that that this is something that's happened for thousands of years, where people have exchanged or gifted each other cannabis back and forth, and now all of a sudden governments feel that they should profit from that exchange of energy between humans. It's preposterous.
It used to be just like a fair trade thing where you could actually work for weed or trade someone weed for like a bike.
It was a currency.
It
was definitely a currency, at least in the hood, man. It was definitely, you could buy plenty of shit with weed.
Yeah, even work for weed. That was a thing.
It was currency, bro.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a currency back then than it is now. But
well, the prices were outrageous, right? Like it just got crazy. It's amazing. No wonder people did what they did, right? Like it's tough out there. You got to do what you got to do. And there's an opportunity. People are going to find it. So we're in the process of like decriminalizing all drugs right now in British Columbia. Everything right now, as it stands, you're allowed to have anything you want on you, up to a certain amount, like 3.5 grams or something. Whatever you want, doesn't matter what it is. And then eventually they're gonna have like stores so that it's guaranteed, not cut, 100% clean, as safe as possible. So that's what's happening in British Columbia right now.
That's wild.
Yeah, but it's a good thing, because it's the opiate problem that's all being cut into the other drugs that's catching people off guard. That's what's happening with the overdoses and shit like that. So they figured out finally that you gotta regulate it and make sure it's good, because we never had these problems back in the 80s and 70s and stuff, but it's the same shit, right? I mean, now there's some new weird shit, but as far as like the classics or legalizing the classics. So I guess that's the BC, that's the culture here, try to make it a health issue so that you go somewhere to buy the product where it's not a drug dealer who doesn't give a shit about you.
Definitely.
So you go somewhere like that, and all of a sudden, maybe they're like, "Hey, it looks like you're fucked up, man. Do you want some help, or you want a phone number? So here's some information." Like your drug dealer's not gonna, not there for you. So,
well,
not only
at its basis, it's people taking care of people. Like cannabis is not like a nefarious, destructive substance like so many other things are.
100%.
A lot of the good cannabis programs I think that exist in the world are based on on the fact of like people wanting to help each other and themselves. I think
100%.
something that exemplifies that. You know what it is? This give back event happening this Sunday, 2 to 7 p.m. Free, free, free. All the vendors you've come to know and love, and Detroit Certification Center. You got Fun Food Express, Chi-Town, and Medical Mondays. Those guys will be there too. Everybody will be getting a raffle ticket, even though it's free. You still get a raffle ticket. Enter to win a great prize. There's door prizes. Am I forgetting anything here, Berg?
Free edible as well while supplies last. Free
Door
burger
prize.
and hot dogs. And a couple side dishes and beverages while supplies last. So
yeah,
you better come with the munchies because that shit's free while it lasts. It's Chi-Town and the Fun Food Express. Don't fuck around, man.
I'm gonna have to get there early too.
I'm hungry now.
Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing, man. It's a thank you for all the people who participated and gave back to the charities over these past couple year. And come show up, show out. It's gonna be fun. You know what, Ross? You're invited too, man. I don't know what you're doing on Sunday, but feel free to drop in, man.
Oh, sick. Thanks, man.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
I actually
man,
have
you need to buy some property here in Michigan and get your medical card. You need to get our numbers up.
I'm definitely, definitely do that. I had fun in Michigan, man. They took good care of me. Really good care of me. They had all weed in my Airbnb that they got me. I got so baked I ended up putting towels under the doors and shit. Yeah. That's saying something. Funny though, you get sometimes when you're in a place you're not used to and you get more baked than normal for some reason.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, because the whole time you're waiting to smoke there, you're not smoking weed.
Right.
Like,
So
you're sneaking around. Like you're like,
it's so true.
Not like you're at home.
No, it's not. All of a sudden your tolerance goes down. Yeah, man. Can I say my Instagram?
Oh yeah, for sure. Tell all your socials, man.
Yeah, man. So it's my name, Ross Rebagliati 98, the number 98 at the end. That's my Instagram. And then rossgoldcannabis.com. So that's the company. And I have to say the site's under, construction. We do have something there. But anyway,
you can bookmark it. Go there and bookmark it.
Yeah, get on the newsletter. That's me on the newsletter, not some bot AI newsletter.
Good shit.
Man, who else is gonna be there, Roach?
Where?
I do, man. I actually do. And I said it earlier in the show, man. I think somebody's going to win a free registration. We're going to figure it out. Detroit Certification Center. The place I'll tell you to go. Give them a call, text 248-275-6707. It's quick and easy. Even you, Ross, whenever it is that you move to Michigan, you can set up an account in moments and you'll be able to use your card that day. It'll take like a week or two for it to come in the mail, but are automatically enrolled in the program.
That's
So
beauty.
it's pretty sweet, man. There's no reason not to have it.
Yeah,
And
Michigan
like
used
Bert
to
said
not
earlier,
have
there's
pictures.
protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention our boy Rich is was in the chat still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
What up?
started. He made it possible in Michigan. He was the guy that I knew fighting for it to get our pictures put on our medical marijuana card in Michigan.
Oh, you're talking
Wow.
about Mr. Free the Weed?
Yeah, it's the guy who's clemented.
That's dope.
Shout out to Richard Clement.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of people, that were organized that came before us, that helped.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, and all right, I just want to give a huge RIP to my man Bulletproof. What was it? I forget his first name. I don't want to put his government out there, but RIP, man. Shit was horrible.
RIPE.
But a lot of people around here have been passing away.
No. That's bad.
Huge shout out to all the people who are still here and supporting. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And I tell them who make this happen, Roach.
Big shout out to Native Made 313, Michigan Turf Farms, Nug Abduction Extracts, Tiki Madman, SOB Labs, and Tree Street Packaging. Boom.
Boom. Yeah, big shout out to you people. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, all that. Thank you, Ross, once again. And yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's good to talk to you and to connect to everybody in Michigan and elsewhere in the United States. Hope to get down there sometime soon with my advanced parole and my brand.
Yeah.
Ready. Yeah, man.
Hit us up beforehand, man. Just don't come here without letting us know, man. We got a plan. It's our turn, man.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Happy Medical Mondays, y'all.
Peace.